All right, I am live. Whoops, let me put the comments on. That would help. Let's see what we got to do here. Okay, we are ready for live action. So once you come on, introduce yourself. Let me know if this is your first time here. In the meantime, I'm just going to get myself organized. I'm Dawn Duval with Shall We Stamp. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I've been doing this craziness for 11 years, I think it is. I don't remember. And let's see, what else do I want to tell you while I'm waiting? I'm thinking. I'm trying to get myself organized. Oh, yes. And if you like my video, if you would share it, I would greatly appreciate that. I am streaming to YouTube as well as my VIP Facebook page. And I will just sit here and wait patiently for those to come on board. If you're on YouTube, they do show me your name, so you don't need to put that in the comments. Facebook, though, because it's a group, it doesn't show your name. So anyways, I am a few minutes early, which is fine, and I'll just sit here and wait for everybody to come on. I'm just going to make some adjustments to the camera and all that fun stuff. So, okie doke. Oh, now you can see my mess behind my desk. Stuff that needs to get organized. I know what I was going to do. I got to get stuff for my sentiment. Forgot about that. Oh, let's see. Let's see. I'm just gathering a few little things here, which I forgot to do. Make some cutting here. Let's see what this is. And let's get a piece of white paper. I'm here in case you're wondering where I am. I'm here. I'm digging through my paper. Trying to find, oh, here's a piece right here. Piece of cardstock. So we'll do this one. This is 2. La 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 la. And this is. I'm just working away. All right, let's see if that's going to work. That might be a little big. That's going to have to work, isn't it? Okay, and we're waiting. All right, it is 7 o'clock, so I'm sure someone's going to be popping on here at any minute. I am just trying to get myself trying to cut up a few things for a sentiment that I completely forgot about. Good thing I caught it now. All right. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay. All right. Are we on? I hope that we are on. It says I'm connected. And it is Tuesday. All right. We're going to give y'all a few minutes. Pop on in. Join the party. Might be starting without you, but we'll see what happens. Da, 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 da. Okay. Okay, selected. We are there. We are connected. All right. Let me go on my computer while I'm waiting. Let's see if there's an issue. I'm gonna make sure I'm on Facebook. All right, hang on. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah, because I can't get any messages when my phone is attached to the iPad. So we'll just sit here and wait. I'm going to go online right now and check to make sure that I am on the page. I'll check every now and then for comments. I did have a little bit of an issue, but I thought I had it corrected. So hopefully that's the... Oh, there we go. Hey, Pam. I was just checking to make sure that I was on. that I was on. Because it wasn't, nobody was there, and I was starting to have a panic attack. I thought, well, I guess I'm going to be stamping by myself tonight, but that's okay. How's everything with you in Ohio? I guess everybody's running late tonight. I'm sure it's probably, who knows, weather related. I tell you, the weather system is crazy, is it not? Let me turn off my laptop since I don't need that. Let me shut that down. There we go. I will move that over here out of the way. I turned it off and had it packed up, so when we get ready to leave, I got most of my stuff taken care of, so I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to get packed up and out of here. So, anyways, how's everything in Ohio? Boy, everybody must be running late tonight. It's 2 minutes after 7. It might just be me and you. We're gonna have our own little party together. But that's okay. I've got some new fun folds. Well, new to me. Y'all may have seen these. Excuse me. Oh, I guess I better get some ink too, huh? I tell you what, I've got everything organized, and then I realize I'm looking at everything and realize I am missing a few pieces. So bear with me a second while I'm waiting for others to come on. I'm going to need a long strip of paper. I'm going to, let's see, what color do we want to use? I guess we'll do, no. Bear with me. I'm just cutting a strip of for a sentiment. That's going to fit right on there. Yeah, we'll do black. Okay. All right, we're good to go here. I got everything done yesterday, and then of course I forgot to put the sentiment papers out, so that's kind of not smart. But anyways, all righty. Cold but sunny. Yeah, today was like I think it was 83, and they're actually talking about we're supposed to get some rain in the next couple of days, and then I think, hello Miss Amy, hi Lisa from Indiana, how are you? I think today was like 83, and then yesterday was hot yesterday, hot and humid, and then we're supposed to get rain the next couple of days, and then it's supposed to cool down for us is like, the 60s, 50s or 60s at night. During the day, it's probably still going to be in the 70s or 80s. So, but it's okay. I'd rather have that than the cold weather. So, all right, hang on a minute. My internet connection, for whatever reason, is showing. Let me see what I need to do. It's showing it's kind of wacky. It's showing in the yellow, which means it's not getting a good connection. Hang on one second. Let me just see. And I think we're going to get started here in just a few minutes. I'm not sure why those are running late, but oh my goodness. All right. Well, hopefully we don't lose connection. I've got a yellow instead of being green, so it's telling me that we have a not real strong internet. So imagine that. Okay. Well, it's 7:05, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. At least I'll start with my normal, my little spiel of what I need to do. This evening we're going to do 3 fun fold cards. They're new to me, so hopefully they're new to you all. If not, that's okay. It'll just be a refresher. And let me flip the camera down to the table, and hopefully I can get my internet to come back some. Let's see what it's saying. Used storage is, oh, it's saying my storage is full. Oh well, hopefully it doesn't kick us off. That otherwise it's just not going to save it. I save it on my phone. All right. This is my new tutorial bundle for the month of March. And as always, if you place a $50 order through my online store and use the monthly host code, which is the TJ2, it's a new one, TJ2ZUMKK, right here in black, then you will receive is 47 tutorials. And this is done by myself and 46 other demonstrators through not only in the United States and Canada, but in the other countries that we also do business with. So 47 tutorials with pictures and written instructions that you would get emailed. So once I get notification of your order, then I'll email you this tutorial bundle. And that if I don't email you the actual bundle because it's so many, I'll send you a link to the Google Drive so that you can have it, and then you can download it onto your system or whatever you want to do with it. So so there you go. And it's really some really nice ones. I mean, of course, we have some of the new Irresistible blooms, one of our online exclusives. I'm sure you all have seen and heard all about that. Stampin' Up! Has started adding items to our online store that will not be in catalogs. And I think the reason, they're going to test it out and see how it is. On my Facebook page, you'll see postings every several days where I've done some flyers of grouping of some of the products that they've already set out. One's a rhinoceros and the Irresistible blooms, and there's punches and all sorts of different things. I think the reason that this is easier because by the time it takes to get it photographed and into a catalog, and then we got to wait 4 to 6 months or however long it is, then items may be hard to get a hold of. They're trying to, as far as ordering purposes and keeping things in stock. So this way they can just pop it right into the online store, and then they'll be ready to be available for purchase. So you'll just have to make sure, if you're not on my newsletter, the best thing would be to sign up for that, and then I keep you up to date, and you can check the online store periodically and see when new things. I think the next set will be added in about 2 months, if I'm not mistaken. So just to give you that heads up. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So whoever comes in late, they'll just get to watch part of the replay. Okay, so this card here, this is one of the first cards that we're going to do. And this is a really easy card, and this is a card within a card. Now I copied this from two of the cards that I'm doing this evening. I copied from Karen Titus with the On the Back Porch Stampers. So just to let you know, so this is a pocket. Now you can send this, and then you open this up, and inside we're using our designer paper, so that helps us from hoarding it, right? So we're going to use up our paper. But what you could also do is if you've got a significant other, you could put a little love note inside of here. You could put a gift card inside of here. So there's all sorts of ways that you can use this. It's really easy to make. It's our base card paper, and then this is cut, so it's real easy. And this is using the Enjoy the Journey, the paper that has all the mountains and all the beautiful, as you can see, the beautiful colors. So that's what we're working with this evening. So I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side. Now I'm going to use the ones that look like stars. So to me, it's like an evening effect, right? So I'll give you the measurements. Now we're going to use a piece of basic white and our card, and this is our card base. That's going to be 5.5 by 4.25. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to tack on a piece of designer paper, which is your 4 by 5.25, right? So we'll go ahead and do that. So that's pretty standard. So let me go ahead, and I hate to cover up this. Isn't this beautiful paper? You did a card from her too? Oh, good. That's awesome. She is such a crazy lady. We were in the same, we had the same coach. Business coach, and I was with him for I don't know how many years, but this year I decided to go a different direction. So but she's such a nice lady. Her and her husband are awesome. Okay, we've been to a couple of different retreats together and stuff like that, but anyways, but she's been around since the my ink does my glue doesn't want to come out. I think she's been around from the beginning of when Stampin' Up started. And she was really affected when they dropped from having 5 levels in your team to 3. That really affected them as well. Okay, so we're going to place this right here, and hopefully I've got that centered. Okay, so that's this is an easy card, really. You can knock these out in no time. All right, now we're going to take a piece of basic whites, 3.5 by 3.5. Okay, and then you're going to do the designer paper at 3.25 by 3.25 or 3.25 square. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to attach these together. Well, first, before we attach them, we're going to cut them at an angle. All right, so we're going to cut them at a diagonal from corner to corner. So let me pull in my paper trimmer, and before we do that, I'm going to flip this over because of course I wrote on it, so we're going to use that. We're going to cover that piece up actually. So we're going to just line this up in our paper trimmer. And the easiest way is to hold the top. What I do is I hold the top point and then move the bottom and then just double check because they tend to slide around, right? So we just want to get our points in the track right here, this little track here, if you can see that. All right, so I think that's good. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to, hang on a minute, let me make sure I got, see, if you're not careful, it's going to slide just a little bit. All right, so we are going to bring that down and cut. We're going to cut these at an angle, and I'm going to flip this over because we're not going to see that. And then we're going to do the same thing to the other square, right? So we're going to line up our points, make sure we've got it in our trimmer, and we'll just cut right up. All right, isn't this easy? You can make a bunch of the. I ran out of time, or I would have made a whole bunch of them. And the way that we use up our we hoard our paper, right? Because I'm sure a lot of you are like me. You don't want to use your pretty paper because it's too pretty, right? So this is how we can use it up. And then I also have something that I'm going to be introducing around that as well, probably in the next month or so. All right, so all we're going to do is place these triangles. Now, we only need one triangle, right? So I'm going to put this one here. And then now I have enough that I can make another card if I want to, or I can flip this over and use, which I'm not because I wrote on it. So I'm going to go ahead and add this here, and that way I've got another corner. So if I want to make another card, I can go ahead and do that. So I probably should have made 2 at the same time, right? So we're going to go ahead and put this here, and then I'll just set this off to the side, and then I'll have that ready for the next card. All right. Okay, so there's that. So now we're going to take this corner and we're going to attach it right down here. And that's going to give us our pocket. Now you can do tear and tape if you want. You can do seal, or you can do your liquid glue. Either way, whatever works. You just want to put enough on there, just on the sides. And I'm just going to run half of my seal. So I'm not going to put it all on the whole strip. I'm just going to put enough just to give it room so that our little pocket, you know, so our card will go in the pocket, right? So I just kind of use my little, and I just take the glue and just kind of fold it over there. All right, so we have that. I thought it was a cute card, and you can make a whole bunch of these, especially with all the designer paper that we have, and it's so beautiful. So you can make a bunch of cards at one time. I'm tucking the glue under. At one time, and then you can have a stash of cards waiting to go out. How clever is that, right? Okay, so there's our pocket right there. All right, then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of cardstock. Oh, I didn't write it down on this one. This is going to be, let me get my measuring out. This piece is 3.25 by 4.25. Okay, 3.25 by 4.25. I have to leave to go to an appointment, but I can finish watching later. Sure, it's going to be recorded. So as soon as we get done, then it will be ready to be watched probably within a couple of minutes. Where are you? Where am I from? I'm originally from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I lived in the Villages of Florida for the last 10 years, and we recently moved here to Fort Myers in July of last year, just in time for the hurricane. And that's where I am. Okay, so this is 3.25 by 4.25. Then you're going to cut a piece of designer paper, and you're going to do this 3 by 8 inches. It's 3, let me make sure it's 8. Hang on a second. I'm pretty confident that it is, but let me just confirm because I don't want to tell y'all something that's wrong. Yeah, it's 3 by 8. So just think 3 inches. You can get a lot of this out of some of your designer paper, right? So I think I might have to take a rainy day and make a lot of cards. All right, so we're going to put some adhesive on the back of this because I want my mountains on the front, right? So all we're going to do is put this on here and place it on our base and just leave our border. Isn't that beautiful? Now I'm using, I just thought this had the Night of Navy in this, so I thought that would look really nice. All right, so there's our card. Now I have a piece to go on the inside of basic white, and this is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So 2 3/4 by 3 3/4, and we're just going to go ahead and attach this to the inside so that we can write our love note or whatever it is that we're going to do, right? So I have to tell you all that got a call from the our medical center here, and Riley, she's a certified therapy dog. They want us to start coming back to do therapy visits. So I'm excited. We're going to start that next Wednesday. Okay, so there's our card, and I'm just going to see how we're going to pop it in here. Look at that. Isn't that cute? All right, so there's our card. Now I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I'm using Highland Heather, just in case you're wondering what this color is. And I'm going to use the Night of Navy ink for my sentiment. Hopefully it coordinates. Now I've got hopefully I've got enough paper on here that this is going to work. So let's see. I'm going to stand up just to make sure I get it on here. And this just says, "You truly inspire me." And I just thought, because the mountains, who knows what the person's doing. And but I thought it would be a good sentiment to put on here. So let me close this up. And this sentiment is from The Beauty of Friendship. Do you all find that sometimes we forget to use our stamps that are not in the, we always go for everything in the new catalog. And this is still in the annual catalog. So just keep that in mind. And I always try to pull out these every now and then and try to use them so they get some love, because they kind of get lost, right? So we're going to add this to our piece of Highland Heather. And these I measured, and these are just, I measured them based on the stamp that I was using. And I'll tell you in just a second what the measurement is on this. And I wanted to get it cut down. Let me get my hands in here. I've got the camera up a little bit different than I normally do. I'm going to pull it over. Okay, so I think this is the Highland Heather is 1 inch by 2, and then the basic white is like 7/8 of an inch and by like 1. And I'm just going to glue that right there. And I could put it at an angle if I wanted, but I'm just going to sit it right there, and it's not going to affect putting this card in. So I'm going to keep it flat. We're not going to put any dimensionals on this. All right, so we're going to put that right there. Isn't that a cute card? I just think this is awesome. Look at this. Isn't that just cute? Just think how many you can make in a day, or whatever time you have to craft. Yeah, I think the DSP, I really love this paper. Look at that one. And that's just the paper itself. It's the moon, and I just cut it down, and you've got lots of room that you've got things to do. So there is that card. It's a card within I guess a pocket card, whatever you want to call it. So there's the first one. All right, now we're going to move on to, let me see, which one do I want to do now? Let's do, all right, this one we're going to do, and this is called an impossible card. Have you all seen these? Impossible card. Let me move my ink out of the way. All right, so this is an impossible card. Again, we're just using a card base, and we're going to cut it, and then this pops up so that it could sit on somebody's desk. Isn't that cute? And this one I made using the new gnomes that are in the annual catalog. I mean, in the mini catalog right now. And this would be Amy, if you haven't purchased these. They're called Friendly Gnomes. We have the same little girl, but these two I think are a little bit different. And then we got the squirrel and all that fun stuff. So, oh good, you used it on your son's birthday. That's awesome. All right, so this is the impossible card. So we're gonna get started. Now what I've done is I'm gonna show you how this works, and then hopefully I don't mess this up. Because you know me, I can mess things up in big time. All right, so our card base is our base of the card is a 5.5 by 4.25. Let me see if I can zoom in just enough where y'all can see this, and I'll move this over. I think you should be able to. All right, so this is our card base, 5.5 this way, 4.25 this way. Okay, the first thing you're gonna do, oh, I didn't write that on here. Hold on, let me get my pen. Hang on, let me find an ink pen. I forgot to write on here that this is, hang on, this is 2 1/8. If I'm not mistaken, hang on. Yeah, this line right here, the dotted line, this is a score line, is 2 1/8, okay? So first thing you want to do is, it's 4.25, right? So half of that is 2 1/8, so you want to score it down the center on the 4.25 side, score it 2 1/8, and then turn it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come in 1 inch from the side, and you're going to cut up to the 2 1/8 to that score line, and you're going to remove that piece right there. Okay, and then you're going to come over. If you measure, this is 4.5, which is a 1 inch, because this is 5.5, right? And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to cut right there. Well, you're not going to take it off. You're just going to cut it. So you're going to have a flap, and I'll show you. So this is the flap right there that we're going to cut, okay? This right here. See that piece? That's the flap, this 1 inch piece. Don't cut it off. I lied to you. So you're just going to cut up to that score line, because there's my score line right there, okay? And then you're going to come down from the top, from the center, which is 2 3/4. You want to come down, I'm not the center, but 2 3/4. You want to bring, and you're going to cut that down to the score line as well, okay? So that's how we're going to do it. So it's going to lay just like this, but I'm going to show you how, because it's going to look like this, and you go, well, how do I get it to look like this? And I'll show you when we get ready to cut it, okay? Now this other piece here, this is going to be for your designer paper. So you're going to cut 2 pieces of your designer paper, pattern paper, at 2.5 by 4 inches, and that's what this piece is right here, 2.5 by 4. Okay, let me get back centered in here. And then you're going to come over 3/4 of an inch, and you're going to cut down to 2 1/8 mark. Okay, so you're going to come down and cut to 2 1/8. All right, and then you're going to just you're not going to remove the paper, because obviously we need that. That's what's going to cover. And then you'll take that off, and then that's going to leave us, I'm sorry, you're going to, pardon me, I'm wrong. You're going to take this 3/4 off, because this is our designer paper, so we want it to go here, right? So you're going to cut it over at 2 1/8, and it's going to leave us this piece right here with the thing. And you'll see how I go when I cut it. So if you look at, this is how it's going to go. You're going to have it on there. Well, really, it's going to be flipped around. But you'll see when I get ready to do it, okay? I know it sounds hard, but it's really not. All right, so let's go ahead and see if I can do this without messing it up, because you know how I am when y'all are watching me. I'm going to leave this right here off to the side so that y'all can make sure that if you want to write it down or take pictures, I'm going to leave that right there. Hopefully you can see it. But I'll bring it in when we're done. Okay. All right. So I'm using basic smoky slate. I'm sorry. I'm using smoky slate, and I'm going to use the Playing in the Rain stamp set, and I'm using that paper from Playing in the Rain as well. And I did some fussy cutting. So this is our 5.5 by 4.25, right? So the first thing I need to do is come in. I'm going to cut just like we talked about. So the first thing, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to score at 2 1/8. So I'm going to line my cardstock up at 2 1/8 and make sure that it's even, top and bottom. Get my 2 1/8 lined up. All right, so we're going to score this. All right, so there's our score line. All right, I'm going to do the top first. So this one says we need to come over to 2 3/4. And the nice thing about this is we have, hang on a minute. Why does that not look like it's, hold on a second. Let me measure my paper, because for some reason it's looking, ooh, hang on. This is too big. I've got this little, I thought it looked kind of big. Hang on a minute. This is 5.5. I got to cut this down. I thought it looked a little too long. I was thinking, what in the world? I must have got a little happy when I was cutting that one. Good thing I caught that. All right, so that should be 4.25. Oh, wow, I didn't even cut this, did I? Okay, well, this, no wonder it looks so big. 4.25 by 5.5, so we're gonna make sure we're at 5.5. Now I'm gonna cut it down to 4.25. Now I'm gonna have to go back and redo my scoring because that's probably not gonna be right. May have to get another piece of paper. All right, let's see. This should be at 2.75. Let's see if that's right. There's 2.5, 2.75. It's not. So let me get another piece. Hang on a minute. I knew I was gonna mess up something. Hang on a minute. It's my fault for not cutting it in advance. Let me get my smoky slate here. I'm coming. All right. Let's start all over. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna cut this at, let's do this at 4.25 because we know we got enough up here. 4.25. Sorry about that, you guys. All right, 4.25. Put these guys over there, and then we're gonna make this at 5.5. Oh, shoot, ski. Cut it the wrong way. Let's do it this way. Now you're learning how to cut paper. All right, that's 5.5. Good Lord. Now we're going to turn it to 4.25. 4.25 right there. All right. Make sure we're at the 4.25 mark. Sorry about that, everyone. You know how I get. Okay, see, we all make mistakes. All right, let's make sure. 4.25 by 5.5. All right, perfect. Now we're going to score. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and score at 2 1/8. So we got 2 1/8 right there. All right, now we're going to turn it and we're going to cut down at 2 3/4. And what I was getting ready to say is when we cut, we've got the mark on, I put a piece of, if you can see, I put a piece of tear and tape there so I can see my numbers. Can you see that? Good to know other people. I make mistakes all the time and you have to laugh at it, right? All right, so we're gonna bring this down to 2 3/4. So I'm just gonna follow this down. I can look for my score line, but I'm just gonna follow it down on my paper, on my trimmer, because it's gonna tell me that we're right there, okay? So there's where I'm going to cut right down to the score line. So now you've got the flaps, okay? So now we're going to bring this side in to 1 inch. I'm going to flip it around. We'll do it this way because we got to do this one here. We're going to do the top, right? Because this is what we're going to do. So we're going to flip it around and cut this end. So we're going to start up here at 1 inch. I'm going to move it over to this side because sometimes it's easier. You can hold it. And I'm going to lay this up here. And we're going to come down 1 inch, and I'm just going to pull it down to my score line. And I'm getting right about, I'm going to come down right about there. Okay, right there. And then this says, I'm just going to flip it around because it's going to be another 1 inch, right? Because this says 4.5 and 1 inch is 5.5. So we're just going to turn it, but make sure we flip it over and do the right side, right? So we did that one, so we're going to turn this one over here and do 1 inch again. Or you can go over to the 4.5 mark. It's whatever works for you. That's fine. All right, so we're going to pull this one down. Whoops. Pull this one down till we get to our score line. And you can see the score line right there, right? So we're right there on the score line. Okay, so here we are. Now, let's fold our card. All right, and then we're going to fold our little pieces. And you're going to say, but Dawn, how it doesn't look right. What's wrong with this? Well, guess what? This is what we're going to do. We're going to flip this piece over like that. So you just flip one of them, see, like this? Let me get back in here. I'm a little off on the camera, sorry. So here is the thing. We're just going to take this one, or whichever one, and I'm just going to turn it like that. And now you've got the shape of the card. So isn't that clever? Okay. So we're going to set this off to the side. Now we're going to cut our paper. Now, my question is, normally you would do this but I have raindrops, right? And I've cut 3 of these because I'm thinking, because if I cut this the same, one's going to go here, the other one's going to have to flip. My raindrops are going to be going the wrong direction. So I'm thinking that I would turn this one, or do I flip it over? That's what I'm trying to decide. But I brought another piece, so if I mess this one up, we'll do it. I think I'm going to cut it. One is the raindrops are going down this way, and this one of them looks like they're going up, and one looks like they're going down. So I'm going to flip one. See how the raindrops are going this way? At least I think they are. So I'm going to flip this one this way, and hopefully that works. If not, then I've got another piece, so it's no big deal. All right. So we're going to bring our paper trimmer back in, and then this one, we're going to take our piece right here, right? So we've got the 2 inches, 2.5 here by 4. So we're going to come over, and we can lay them right on top of each other. So we're going to go over to 3/4 of an inch. And what I'm going to do is on my trimmer now, I'm going to mark, I got to watch my 2, I'm going to cut down to 2 1/8. So I'm going to watch on my side here where I can get to the 2 1/8 mark. So I see my 1/4, and then I see that. So I'm going to come down and I'm at 2 and a little bit more, right about there. Okay, so there's 2 1/8. And then from that, we're going to come over, we'll turn it this way, and we're going to bring this in to 2 1/8, which hopefully I've got it right, and it's going to line up. So let's go to 2 1/8 right there. Hang on, let me get my papers so it's tight. We're going to line it up to 2 1/8, and then we're going to bring our cutter in, and we're going to cut off this square right here. Hopefully I've got that right, and I'm going to bring this over to where I cut it, and I should be able to see my cut mark. And let me see, I'm going to open it up just to make sure. Yeah, I got a little bit more room, so I'm going to bring it over just a little bit more. I'd rather be safe than not safe, right? So we just got a little bit, just a hair left. Okay, and you can feel it when it breaks off. All right, so that's all we got. So there's our pieces. Now look, when I turn it, so I think my raindrops are going to be okay. All right, so there's that. The first time you can just play with some, paper that if you don't care about making mistakes on, that's probably the easiest thing. All right, so now we're going to put this together. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to line this one up here. Well, we got to, hang on. Let me see how we do it. We're going to flip it the other way. Hang on a minute. Let me get my thing straight so I can get my do. All right, let's flip it this way. Okay. Where's my little flippy? All right, I got to get my, here we go. All right, got that paper there. All right, so, and if it's off a little bit, we're going to trim it. So I need to trim that down. I can see that right there. All right, and then that's going to go there, and then this one will go, wait, we got to flip him back around because he's got to go this way, right? Yeah, like that. So this is our thing. I've got to trim this down. So I do need to trim this a little bit. You know how when you cut your cardstock, sometimes it's not all the way there. So I need to trim that up, this right here, and you can see I didn't come all the way down to cut this off. So I'm going to cut that off. So that piece is going to go there, and this piece, so I didn't do it right, correct? So this one, let's see. Oh, we got to turn them. That's why it's not working. Okay, there we go. Then this one's going to go here, and then that will go here. There we go. I had to flip it over. Okay, so you can see I need to cut this down. So I'm going to bring my paper trimmer and retrim. And I'd rather play it on the safe side than, mess it up. So I know, and I know this is crazy, but I can see my line right there. So I'm going to put it in my trimmer, and I should be able to trim that right off. And if you're not sure, start at the bottom and just cut from the bottom, And that way it'll be a little bit easier too. So that way I can get that, and we'll line this one up. So I'm making it look harder than it is, but it really, once you do it a couple of times, it's should be pretty easy. All right, so I didn't get that one all the way, which is okay. So we're just going to bring it down a little bit. You can feel that trimmer hit the open spot. And I'll just take my paper snips and we'll trim that one off. And I think this one's still going to be a little bit, hang on a second. I think this one's still going to be off just a little bit. All right, let's see. Before I move my trimmer out of the way. All right, so we're gonna put this one here. Let's see if we got it. Yep, that one fits there. And then this one is gonna fit right there. Perfect. Okay, so now we're good. And I had to do that on the other one. So if you have to do that, it's okay, right? Because you're just gonna have to just make a few little touch-ups, you know, just to trim it. And then these you can keep if you want to do like scrap cards, you know, where you're using your scraps and you make cards. Okay, so now we're going to add our adhesive. If I can get it to come out. I don't know why it's decided it wants to be gooey. Hang on a second. Let me pull this. I've pulled it off twice. Okay. Are y'all still with me? Hi, Kathy. All right, so and the nice thing about when I make mistakes, so y'all can see that, so you don't have to do what I do, right? So, but if I'd rather lean caution on the, you know, so I have caution than have cut it and then I messed up my entire paper. So if I cut it a little bit too long, it's okay. All right, so we're going to lay this right there. So there's that one, and now this one is going to fit right there. And I think I've got my raindrops going in the same way, but the paper is so you can't even tell. But anyways, all right, so that's how you're going to cut your paper. So if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Trimmer, you might want to consider getting one. If you have a trimmer and it's got the numbers on the side of the track like ours does, then you're fine. Don't worry about it. All right, so we're going to lay this one right here, and we're going to lay that down. All right, so there's the card. All right, now, and it doesn't matter whichever way, since to me it's standing up this way. So if we lay it flat to go in the envelope, it's going to pop up. So I think the way it's popping up, I think I'm going to make this the front of my card. So we're now, and I'm going to put these back here so those that are joining can see what the measurements are while I'm talking. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of basic white. I didn't write anything on these. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so you're going to take a piece of basic white that's going to go on this piece right here. And this piece is 2 inches, well, it's actually like 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. Okay, so 1 7/8 by 3 1/4, and that's going to go on there. So what I did is out of the paper, I just decided to do something fun. I just fussy cut from one of the designs, and I'm sure y'all have seen this, right? So I just cut the clouds and this little fox dude. I think it's a fox. I think he's cute, and he's holding an umbrella like he's dancing in the rain. So I'm going to glue them down, and then I'm going to put Oh Happy Day, because he's happy that it's raining. That's my concept of it. So I'm going to glue him down. And glue his the little clouds down. So this is fun because these are things that, you know, it doesn't take a lot of other than the fussy cutting, you know. So I'm gonna put the clouds right there because we're gonna stamp a sentiment on here, and then we're gonna stamp another sentiment because we've not finished with this card. And let's go ahead and put some glue on this guy. But so he's having fun dancing in the rain. So we're gonna make him have a happy day because he's happy. He doesn't care. Right? Got to make the most of it. Life's too short. All right, so we're going to put him a little bit at an angle just because we can. All right, so we're going to pop him there. And now I'm going to stamp Oh Happy Day right in this little spot right here. So hopefully I don't, and that's way too much ink. Hang on a minute. You can tell as soon as I pushed it, it was too much. I should learn to do what I tell my customers. Tap, tap, tap. All right, so we're going to stamp this right here. All right, and of course I had to smudge it, didn't I? I smushed it down. Well, that's okay. We can say that it's raining on our ink, and that is why it looks a little splotchy. But that's all right, because you know what? No one's going to notice that anyways. Us as stampers, we notice our mistakes, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, I can't. But somebody's not even going to pay attention to that. They may just think that it got wet from the rain. Who knows? See, I try to be positive about it, right? So, all right. So we're going to put that right here on this piece. And we're going to lay that down, and it's going to be all... Now, of course, I probably should have used a lighter color instead of this gray. But I figured it was raining, and it was gray and dreary, so that's why I used the smoky slate. All right, so there's that, right? All right, so the next thing we're going to do is I've cut a piece of smoky slate, and this is 1 inch by 5.5, so that's going to go right over there from edge to edge, and wherever you want to place it, it doesn't really make a difference. It's up to you. I'm going to leave a little bit so it's kind of not on the end, so it kind of looks like a brace. And then I cut a piece of the coordinating paper, and this is 3/4 by, I just cut it. It's whatever, let's see what it is. I'll measure it for you guys. It is at 5 1/4. So we did 5 1/4. All right, so let's go ahead and put some adhesive on here. And let me get back in the camera. All right. So what do you think about these cards? Aren't they cute? So if y'all make some of these, you need to share. Let us see what you're doing. And I tried to cut this paper, the raindrop, so we're all in the same direction. All right, so we're gonna lay that right on there, okay? And then we're gonna take a scrap, and I'm gonna stamp on this. Wait a minute, I did have a, no, I'm gonna cut it down. And I'm not gonna worry, it's not gonna go all the way across. I'm just gonna stamp rainy days are better with you, and then I'll cut it on the paper trimmer. So we'll just trim it down. All right, and I'm going to use my black Memento, and hopefully this time I don't get it all funk it up. I think I must have inked this thing or something, because it looks like it's got a lot of ink. And I'm just going to try to stamp this in the center. And then I'm going to trim it down, and I'm just going to trim it so it's going to match up with that. What is that? What did I say? That was 3/4, so I'll have to get it down a little shorter. I'm going to make sure my ink is dry. So this is a pretty easy card, you know. It's just a little come in late to watch the replay. Okay. So I'm just going to line this up actually and try to give it a little bit of, so I'm not there. I think we'll be good with that. And then I'll start working to trim it down, because I know I need to get it a lot thinner than that. I'm just going to work this, and we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if that's going to cut. Let me see where it's going. No, I think we'll be good with that. So let's try that and see. Ooh, that's close. All right. And let's see how that's going to look. Where's my little piece of paper? Yeah, so I need to trim this down some more. So we're just going to trim this down. I like to live on the edge. Let's see, we'll bring it down just a little bit. All right, let's try that. Okay. And then, there we go. That'll work. And then we'll add some little doodads or something to it. All right. And they have some little, well, I didn't think the flowers would probably be appropriate, but we can probably put some, let's see. Let me trim. That looks like it's crooked, doesn't it? It does. That looks crooked. All right, hang on a minute. The rainy days is looking crooked. Let's see if we can do this without messing it up. Give me just a second. I think it's that part where my finger is at the top. So let's hold that down. Let's see if we can get it to cut without trimming off any of our rain. Okay. I think we'll be good with that. And we will lay that there. Now we can trim this. That's going to be a little tight. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to, I'm going to cut these at an angle. And then that way, let's do it this way. We'll just stick it right in the center. And we're going to glue this down as well. Okay. And then we're going to pop that right in the center. All right. Now, we're going to add that to here. So what we want to do is we've got about 1 inch to put our adhesive. So I'm going to kind of gauge it. So probably right about there. All right. If you can see that, it helps if I get in the camera. I've got my pad up so further than I normally do. And then based on this, I'm going to probably just go right about here. And I'll just put some adhesive here. Okay. And then we're going to put that on there, and I'm going to place it right about there. and right about there. Let me make sure that's straight. This is a cute little card. I tell you, it is so precious. All right, I think we're good. There you go. There is that card. Now, when you go to mail it, all you have to do is fold this down and mail it. Now, if you want to put, you can put a little piece of paper back here to write your note on, or you could actually put a little thing here if you want and put your note on that. But isn't that a cute card? All right, so here, in case you're joining me, I'm gonna put this on here again so y'all can see the measurements of the main pieces. All right, and the small white piece was 3 1/4 by 1 7/8. 1 7/8 by 3 1/4. All right, so there's that one. Isn't that cute though? I just think it's precious. I just think, and then it sits up. So if somebody has a desk, they can have that, and they've got a cute little thing to put on their desk or office desk or whatever. All right, so that's our Impossible card. So that's number 2. And then here are the measurements again for the card base and the designer. This is for the DSP. I should write that on there so that when somebody comes back and watches the replay, they'll know what this is. DSP, and this is card base. That way we don't get confused. All right, so there's that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next card. And this is going to be a purse. It's not actual purse, but we're making a actual looking like a purse. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way. And if y'all have any questions, just let me know. All right, so we'll move this. My trash can. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, so the next one is, now, you know, if you bought the paper, all that animal print, oh shoot, let me see what the name of it is. Hold on. We're going to use the animal print because, you know, you don't know what to do with this paper, do you? I mean, some of it, but it's all animal print on top and the front and the back. And this is like an animal. So you have all this paper. So I'm going to start making a bunch of cards with purses on them or something else. I'll come up with something. Okay, so now we're going to, let me show you what it is that we're doing here. Here's the card. Let me move this out of the way. Isn't that cute? So this is the card. Now, we're not going to do any heat embossing, but on this particular one, I did heat emboss. Let me put my pen over there. This is using, and I'll go through the measurements in just a minute, but we're using the frame, the florets. It's from, oh my gosh, framed florets, I think it is. And the animal paper, but isn't that cute? So it just looks like a purse, and I added some of this ribbon. I know that's retired, but I didn't put enough. So you depending on if you want adding ribbon or not. I'm not going to put ribbon on the next card. But this is going to be a base of 5, and it's thick, I was going to say whisper white, thick basic white at 5.5 by 8.5. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And then this one, I am going, well, we got to score it, so let me pull this in, because it is the thick. Normally, you know me, I fold it in half, right? But the thick Whisper White, you really need to score it because it's really hard if we don't. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4. It is harder if you don't give it a good score to get a nice crisp fold. So, all right, so let me burnish this with my bone folder. Well, thank you. I should show you. I don't think I'll have to show you. I did a blush. Not, what is it called? A compact, a makeup compact with when we have the flowers with the. Oh, I can't remember. It's right over there. I'll have to show you what I did with that one. All right. So this is our base thick Whisper White, and then pick your animal print, whatever it is, and this is the same, so it's 5.5 by 4.5, and I just chose the other, and I think this is a little bit long, so let's do a little bit of trimming. I'm going to just trim just a tad, so this should be 5.5, so I'm just going to trim just a little bit off because it looked like it's got a little bit there, and this should be at 4 1/4, and that's a little bit hanging over as well. So let's just do a little trim there. Okay, that should work. And if a little bit's hanging over, you can always trim it with your paper snips. All right, so this we're gonna add right to the front. This is really easy, an easy card. So we're gonna add that right to the front of the card. And I'm just gonna use and you can use whatever side of paper you want. It doesn't matter, right? All right, so we're gonna add this. And this one is really fun too, because my glue does not want to come out for whatever reason. I think it's got I think it's jammed up with glue for some reason. This one sits here, and I don't use this one until every Tuesday. I guess I probably should use it more often, huh? All right, so we're just gonna lay this on here. And I thought this animal, because I have this paper, I haven't hardly used it. Of course, you only got a few more months right before it goes away. And I'm thinking, I've got to figure out ways to use up this animal paper. So that's what we're going to do. My girlfriend's son just had a baby. Maybe we can use up some of this paper for an animal theme. Yeah, the impossible card, you definitely got to pay attention. Okay, so we've got that on there, and this is really pretty simple. Whatever color you can choose whatever color you want to go with whatever, you know. If you're going to use animal print, you can use any other kind of designer paper, but I'm going to use this, and this is a piece of basic black, and this is 3 5/8, which is the one, you know, line right after the half, or yeah, 2 lines after. 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Okay, so 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. Now this one I did emboss with the gold, but this one I'm just going to stamp on a piece of white paper, and we are going to use that as our sentiment, and I'll make some tags out of it or whatever. Okay, then you're going to cut another piece of the coordinating animal print, and this is 2 5/8 by 4 1/2. So 2 5/8 by 4 1/2, and we're just going to lay this down towards the bottom, and we want to leave a little bit of, you know, a little bit of the trims. And again, you don't have to put black. You can use whatever color you want. If you're using a different color, you don't even have to use. You can change whatever you want to use. That's all. Like this one, you could use brown if you use this side of the paper. You could do brown or Sahara sand or whatever. Okay, so we're going to glue this one down. And this one's pretty easy too. All right, so we're going to lay this one here. And we're going to get that lined up and kind of get it centered. And we have our little bit of a edge going around the card. Okay. Now, the next thing is, this is the floret. And let me get the dies for you real quick so you can see what I've done. Hang on 1 second. Let me grab them. Oh, where are they? Hold on a minute. Floral, that's not it. Hang on, I'm coming. Frame florets. Okay. So we want to take, the dog's looking at me like I'm crazy. All right, so this is the one that we used, right? This real pretty one. So you're going to cut that out, and this is the fine shimmer paper that I think it's still available. Actually, it comes in the 3 colors. Hang on a second. The fine shimmer, and it comes in fresh freesia, soft succulent, and the gold. So I'll show you the colors. Okay, so that's real pretty because it's got that little bit of sheen to it. All right, so all I did was run a piece through. Now I can't get it in there. I ran a piece through the die cutting machine, and then depending on how you want your purse, if you want it this way, you know, it's going to open like that, then you're going to take your frame and you'll just cut it in half this way. Okay, now if you're going to do your card this way for whatever reason, then you're going to adjust this, which you can do, and then you'd want to cut your frame, you'd want it to go this way so you'd have a smaller piece. Does that make sense? But since I'm doing it horizontal, then that's going to fit. And you just, now what I did, because you know when we cut this, that oval comes out, right? Well, I was very gently poking this out with my pokey tool, but I put some of the you know, what is that paper we use? Shoot, the Post-it notes, the cover-up tape that doesn't rip your paper. So I just put those right along the bottom here and just had a little bit of an edge holding on to this piece so it doesn't fall off. Okay, so that's how I held that on. And then what we'll do is we're going to place this right here at the edge to make it look like our purse, right? So we're going to place that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down Yeah, we did glue that down. Okay, so this one I'm going to glue down. And if you want to add ribbon, you can. And then I would just put some under here, like using your adhesive or what have you. Just put a little piece like right here, and then enough to loop it around, or just don't. I'm not going to put one on this one. I'm going to leave this one without a handle. So we're just going to add our adhesive, and I'm just going to go all the way through here, all over my little papers. And then I'm going to come up in here. Let me get my craft mat. And if you don't have one of these, you definitely need to have this in your stamp room, because this is a lifesaver. So I'm just going to come through with my liquid glue, and I'm just going to make a small dotted line, just going all the way up and over to hold, and down here just to hold everything in place. I'm just kind of not squeezing real hard, and then just coming around here, and then in these larger spots here. So we want to make sure that it sticks. All right, and then we're going to put that there. All right, so I think that's good. Let me get my tweezers, that way I don't mess this up. All right, and then we're going to place this right at the top of our card pattern paper, and I'm going to slide it up. That's one thing nice about the multi-purpose glue, is it does allow us to move it. All right, and then what you've done is after you cut this in half, then you've got another half that you can use for another card. So you get to make another card. All right, so we're going to lay that there. Now, I'm not going to heat emboss anything. I'm going to go ahead and stamp a sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. Now, I'm going to add this to the center of the card, and then I'll go ahead and do my sentiment. And then we're going to add, and what I'm going to use is some black. The dots I'm using are retired. So I'm just going to let you know that right now, because I don't have any current black dots. So just put this on here. All right, and then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Let me get my stuff out of the way here. And I'm sending many thanks for all you do, and I'm going to put that here, but we're going to cut this down. I'm going to be doing I'm doing a lot of cutting down tonight, because I couldn't find any paper, so we're just going to stamp it. I wanted to make sure I had enough room to get my sentiment on here, and then I'll cut it down. So whatever reason, my thanks is not getting any ink on it. All right, hang on a minute. There we go. All right, so we're going to, we'll stamp this, and we probably will cut some tails. I'm going to probably put it a little bit lower, because I know I'm going to need to trim it up just a little bit. Okay, sending many thanks for all you do. All right. Now you could, which I did not do, and I just thought about this, if you wanted the purse to stand up, you could put some foam tape underneath, and then on the top part up here, put some foam tape here, just a little strip, and then put a little small mini dimensional right under there if you want that to be lifted up to make it look like the purse might be partially opened or something. So I'm going to trim this down, because this is kind of and I could have embossed this with white embossing powder, but I just thought that was going to be a little much. So I'm just going to trim this down so it doesn't hang over, and let's see if I can get this without having this thing shift on me. Hopefully it's going to be straight. Whoops, hang on. I think we're going to end up cutting. No, I think we'll be fine. I might end up cutting some of this off. Let's see. Woo, that was close, wasn't it? Tell you, living on the edge. See if we can get that in there. And yeah, that'll work. And I'm going to put some flags on the bottom. And you can dress this up however you want to dress it up. But I'm just going to make some little flags on the end. I don't know what that's going to look like, but here we go. Actually, let me cut this down just a tad. So I think that's going to be a little too big. And we'll cut a tag, a little tail.